What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about XRP today. It is the 17th day of December. Here we are sitting at about $1.95 right now with 8 hours and 18 minutes left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. Here we are. 8 hours, 18 minutes left in the day. This double bottom is looking true and fierce at the moment. It's not a confirmed double bottom. And this is something for the kids at home. If you're maybe you don't want to be a technical analyst. Maybe you understand charts to some degree. You can understand what a double bottom is, right? Can't everybody? This will help you in the future. This is not a double bottom technically yet, right? We're identifying it as a double. It identifies as a double bottom, but it hasn't fully transitioned yet, if you get my drift, right? You are not a technical double bottom until you break above the midway point, right? Every double bottom, it's two lows, which means, what's the word I'm looking for? It basically, it just means that there was a low, you moved up a little bit, and then you had another low. The double bottom's not confirmed until you get above that midpoint, right? So up here. And then at that point, technically, we'd be, once we get above about $2.29, we should be home free, I think, to something that's probably going to be above 260. Because not only do we have a double bottom, but double bottoms typically are W patterns, right? And if this is a W, typically W's stop above where they started. You could argue that it started here. We could argue that the W started here. I think the further away we go, the weirder it looks. So I'm going with the one that looks the least weird here. It's already a weird W. But something that's above 260, potentially as high as, let's say, like 280 up here at these prior points of support back here. Support there, resistance there, something in between. That's where we're going to go. Okay, that's the gist of it. And likely we'll see that by the end of the year. I don't know if XRP gets above $3 by the end of the year. I wouldn't be thrown off by that. I wouldn't be surprised by that. I'm not calling for it, though, at this moment. We were calling for it at the beginning of the month, but this month has been rather disappointing so far. Right now, I think we're just doing some damage control. We're probably going to come up here. We'll consolidate, we'll pull back for January, and then we'll rally. We'll rally in January, but we're going to pull back initially is kind of my thought, right? Start the month off red, maybe the first day, maybe the first week, whatever, like we did with December, and then we'll probably close it green, like we will do with December. I do think that we will be somewhere in this area. That's the main point. 260 to 280. It's the 17th now, sometime between now and probably next week, and you know, or maybe by the end of this month, whatever. Let's look at the short-term stuff. We'll look at the 1 hour time frame, and then we'll zoom out from there. Okay, 1 hour time frame. Wow, Bitcoin is seeing some immense volatility. Oh my goodness, 88. We're back at 88.5K. We were all the way up just a second ago at 90.3K. Where the recent low was at 86.3K. Seeing some volatility, shaking things out, definitely getting a lot of volume here. XRP is getting some volatility from that as well. You've actually back tested $1.99 and found resistance where you found support before. In all fairness, this actually doesn't look good on the 1 hour time frame. I don't like this, actually. This is actually really not a good look for XRP. Wow, what was starting off as such a bullish, hopeful video, because that doesn't look good, right? Coming up here and finding turbulence, okay, that's one thing. But, dude, this is a rejection, right? That's harsh. That is harsh. Off of $1.98, which is basically a psychological level in itself. But not only that, you know, prior areas of support that you're finding resistance at as well. What about this fib from a high to a low? Right at the golden ratio, man. You topped off literally right at the golden ratio to very harsh rejection all the way back down. It's intimidating. We're seeing a lot of volatility with Bitcoin, right? A lot of volume coming in on these last couple of hours, which is nice to see, I suppose. Let's wait and see how this plays out, but I'm not going to lie, I don't like this. I don't like this right now, for XRP at least. For Bitcoin, I don't know if I mind it as much. Let's see. We're not really finding resistance. I mean, yes, it's somewhat of a significant area back here, but it's not. It is a rejection, but it might not be as vital as what XRP is going through. Rejecting the overbought zone, rejecting the overbought zone, and then the MACD. It's turbulent, not really getting anything off of that. Hard to say. I don't want to be too bullish here, but I don't want to be too bearish either. I think the right call is to be bullish because of the double bottom setup that we have. But again, it's not validated until we get above the midpoint, technically. Bouncing off the 40 on the RSI. We're down from the peak of this 4 hour candle, but we're still up. We've seen 4 hour candles wick up and then pull back and then still pumped afterwards. We've seen it happen. We've seen bullish candles that still inevitably promoted a dump afterwards. You know, it's not. It's not so cut and dry. Okay, I didn't mean to do that. It's not so cut and dry. It's interesting, the volatility that we're seeing. It's also the first hour and a half that the stock market's been open, so could be some plays off of that. How is the stock market doing? Let's see. Probably down. I would assume it's not pumping. Yeah, down. Maybe that's why we're seeing this volatility. That's probably what it is, honestly. Stock market has bullish divergence on its 1 hour MACD and on the RSI. So we should see the stock market rally by the end of the day. I think this is nothing necessarily to worry about. I shouldn't say that. It might not be as worrisome as I originally thought, but I will admit a rejection right off of that, that's not a good look, man. It's really not a good look. In all fairness, though, you rejected here, and guess what? You still moved up higher. But back here, it wasn't as significant as it is now. I'm going to stop playing this game of scratching my head. We're just going to call it what it is. It's bad. It looks bad. You need to show up. If not, you're going to go below this low. If not, then the double bottom idea goes out the window entirely. But as long as you hold up, I don't care that you rejected here. It's fine. But if you go below this low, we might have problems. If you go below $1.89, then perhaps XRP you have problems. We're at $1.92 right now. If you go below $1.89, that's the line in the sand. Don't break that. You break that, I don't care if you close or wick or whatever. You get below there, you're likely going to go below this low. And if somehow we go below this low and then we pump back up, these market makers are really messing with everybody. It would be very interesting to see. The 4-hour RSI technically is bearish still. You've rejected from this area, but then you found support at the 40. That's a bullish implication. This is a one little bullish pip in an overall bearish scenario. So exciting, but not enough to get excited for. Stochastics looking like they want to break above the 50 instead of rejecting. That's also exciting. That's also a good look. I like the 4-hour stochastics a lot. That gives me a little bit of hope that we do continue to push higher. 11 minutes left in this 4-hour candle. I doubt that we come back down in the next 11 minutes to flip these stochastics to the downside. So yes, I really do like the stochastics. The MACD is bearish, but whatever. You're oftentimes the worst looking at your low points. Daily time frame, bouncing off the oversold zone, which is something that XRP loves to do. Double bottom look. Stochastics coming up out of the oversold zone. We're so close. We're so very close. If today can close here and then tomorrow can close green, we're definitely going to get out of the oversold zone, and that promotes days, if not weeks, worth of growth. If we can close this day higher, like here or above where that high is, I would assume that today we get both of these oscillators out of the oversold zone. And it's a bullish time anytime, especially on a daily time frame, when your oscillators on the stochastics both get out of the oversold zone. The last time that happened was here. The time before that, we got both of them out of the oversold zone was back here. We had a nice little pump. We went lower both times afterwards. But here, just because we went lower before doesn't mean we have to go lower this time, right? We can pump and still move higher afterwards. And the MACD does have bullish divergence. Is it? Yes, it is bullish divergence. Weekly time frame here. RSI looks completely reset. The stochastics aren't completely reset, but again, normally I wouldn't expect that you'd bounce here, but for XRP, this is somewhat of a normal zone. You bounce there, found resistance there, right? It's a somewhat of a normal zone, bounced right there to find support on your stochastics. For anything else, I would think we look bearish here. But for XRP, technically, it's somewhat bullish, to be fair. So, and the MACD has reset itself, I think, and then on top of that, you're at the base of what is a horizontal channel overall, right? I think that you're ready to bounce, man. I really do. I think that's what's going to happen. And the bounce, when we look back at it, maybe in like 3 months from now, we'll look back and be like, man, this was just a straight line up. But I think over the coming weeks, probably going into the end of the month, it'll be like we move up here, we consolidate early January, then we move up higher, we might consolidate, and then we really get our breakout going into like maybe February, March, April. We really get our breakout move. And that breakout move should take us all the way up, I think, to $13 to $17. That's the expectation. That's been the expectation for most of this range, is that when we break out to the upside, whenever it is, it could be a 10-year period from now. Hopefully not. Probably not. Probably not. But tomorrow, 2 months from now, whenever it is that we break out, $13 to $16 is where we're expecting to go. And it's been a while since I've actually used the fibs to explain why. But the reason why I believe that is because I don't believe we stop at the 1272. There's less congruence here on several different scales whenever we use these fib extensions. And as far as like this movement goes in itself, it's kind of small. The only area that makes sense to me would be this level or higher. And with the 1414, typically you don't stop at the 1414 or below it. Typically you wick above it. You could stop below it. And if you're holding out for $13.57, we could stop at $13 and that's all you get. But I would think, statistically speaking, we're more probable to go just above the 1414 than below it. That's why we say $13 to $16, because that's like just above it there. So I got nothing else. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here, and I'll see you on the next one, okay? Take care of yourselves. Hopefully everybody's staying safe in the midst of this wicked volatility. Oh my goodness. Wow. That is so wild. That is so crazy. I don't know if we're in trouble or not. Hopefully this day, by the end of the day, hopefully we're not closing below these lows. But if Bitcoin gets below these lows, understand guys, if we get below like 86K, we're probably in trouble. We are probably going to go a little bit lower here. But I don't know if I'm expecting that personally. Anyways, I'll see you on the next one. Hit the like button, subscribe. It's probably all dependent on the stock market anyways, which again, S&P has bullish divergence on the stochastics. There is bullish divergence on the MACD as well. I'm actually kind of curious. Let's just see. Let's take this from a low to a high. And we're going to take this high, not the fake out high that came afterwards here. You're right at the 382. It's a perfect level to bounce. It really is. I theorize this. You guys are going to see this happen, right? So Bitcoin and XRP and everything, we just saw some wicked volatility, probably because of the stock market opening, right? We see this kind of volatility happen, or sometimes we move up, sometimes we move down, sometimes we get volatile like this right around the stock market open. I bet we bounce here. I bet the rest of the day the stock market is moving up. It might not move up like this, how it moved down, but even if it moves up like this, like however it works, I would assume we come back up. Maybe we close the day green, maybe we don't, but that's not the point. The point is, I doubt that we close here or lower. I would expect that we do move higher from here. And if I'm wrong, well, I will have some splaining to do tomorrow. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.